Hello, welcome to yoga. Let's get started seated. Any comfortable seats. Sit up tall, relax your shoulders down, and breathe in and out through your nose. Begin to roll your shoulders forward. Then begin to roll your shoulders backward. And then release your shoulders back and down. You can keep your eyes closed or gently allow them to open. We're going to stretch out our neck. So let your right ear come towards your right shoulder. Maybe walk your left hand out to the left to increase the stretch. Walk your left hand in and lift your head to center. Then switch sides, left ear to left shoulder, and maybe walk your right hand out to the right. Walk your right hand in, lift your head, open your eyes, then clasp your fingers together, push your palms away from you, and round your back, chin towards your chest. And then lift your hands up toward the ceiling, look up towards your hands. And then repeat that a few times, coming toward rounded back, chin tucked toward chest, and then lifting up, palms toward the ceiling. A few more times on your own. Next time your hands are up toward the ceiling, pause there. And the next time you exhale, twist toward the left, let your arms release down toward the floor, looking out over your left shoulder. And then gently untwist, turning back toward center. Clasp your hands the other way, so probably whichever way feels most awkward. Press your palms away from you, round your spine, chin toward your chest, and then lift your hands up toward the ceiling and hold here. Gaze straight forward and then look side to side. Return your gaze to center, and then on your next exhale, twist to the right or whichever side you didn't twist to last time. And then untwist, and let's come to child's pose. Hips towards your heels, reach your arms toward the front of your mat. Shift forward to a modified plank. We're going to take a gentle vinyasa to downward dog. So finding straight line from your shoulders to your knees. Keep that straight line as you bend your elbows lower all the way to the floor. Press the tops of your feet down, lift your head and shoulders up to cobra. Lower back down. Then press into your hands, press back up to modified plank. And then downward dog, tucking your toes, lifting your knees, lifting your hips. We'll spend a few minutes here to get comfortable, pedaling out your feet, bending one knee at a time. And then bringing that movement to a stop. Make sure your feet are about hips distance apart. And then walk your hands towards your feet, finding a forward fold near the back of your mat. We'll hang out here for a little bit, so feel free to grab opposite elbows. Maybe have a slight bend in your knees as you move your torso side to side, letting the top of your head hang toward the floor. Release your arms down toward the ground. We'll slowly roll up to standing, first pressing into the floor with your feet, and then slowly beginning to lift up. Eventually, lift your gaze, and then lift your arms up overhead. And let's round all the way back down, bringing your arms down to your sides, then tuck your chin, round your shoulders forward, maybe slight bend in the knees as you round down to the floor. And then once your hands reach the ground, crawl your hands forward, coming out to a plank. We're going to take another vinyasa from here, maybe starting from full plank or modified plank with knees on the ground. On your exhale, bend your elbows, lower down to the floor. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale back down. Inhale to push up to a plank. And exhale, downward dog. Look toward the front of your mat. Bend your knees and then step or hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. On your next inhale, lift partway, lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold back down. Inhale, come up to standing. Reach your arms overhead. And exhale, arms by your side. We're going to do a little chair flow here. So you might bring your feet together if you want, or you can have your feet a little wider, up to you. Just make sure your feet are about parallel to each other. So let's start with arms by your sides. And then on your inhale, you're going to bend your knees, sweep your arms forward and up, coming into chair. And then exhale, come right back up to standing. And then repeat with your breath, exhaling into chair, inhaling to stand back up. Next time you find chair pose, hang out there. And then we're going to balance on our toes coming into drinking bird. So gently lift your heels up off the mat. Bring your arms alongside you, hands by your hips, and then tip forward so that your torso is parallel to the floor. From here, try bringing your arms out to the side into a T, palms toward the floor. And then you bring your hands back alongside your ears, stretching toward the front of your mat, palms facing toward each other. Bring your hands back to a T out to the side. Then bring them back alongside you. And then find normal chair, heels down, reach your arms up toward, well, in the direction of the ceiling, maybe not pointing straight up. Take one more inhale here, and then exhale, forward fold. We'll hang out here a little bit more, maybe swinging side to side again, grabbing opposite elbows. Maybe shake your head no and nod your head yes. Bring your hands to the floor. On your next inhale, lift partway, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step your right foot back, coming into a lunge, keeping your back heel lifted off the floor. And then we're going to lift up into Crescent pose. Lifting your arms up toward the ceiling, maybe looking up towards your hands. On your next exhale, open up to Warrior Two. Reverse your warrior, lifting your left arm up. And find side angle. Left elbow to left knee or left hand to the floor. Right hand on your hip, straight up or toward the front of the room. Lift back up to Warrior Two. And then on your next exhale, bring your hands to the floor outside your front foot. Step back to a plank. And then take a vinyasa to downward dog. Maybe taking either of the options we've done before, or lowering just halfway into chaturanga. And then lifting up to upward dog. On the top of your feet, keeping your hips off the floor. From upward dog, lifting your hips slowly up toward the ceiling, maybe rolling over your toes or flipping your feet one at a time. Eventually meeting up in downward dog. From here, lift your right leg up behind you, three-legged dog. And then bring your right foot forward in between your hands, coming into a low lunge. Find stability in your feet, and then lift up into Crescent pose. Hands toward the ceiling, gaze toward the ceiling. Next exhale, Warrior Two. Next inhale, reverse, right hand lifts. And then next exhale, come forward to side angle. Try to choose whichever option you chose on the other side. Lift back up to Warrior Two. Take an inhale here. And on your next exhale, hands to the floor. Step back to plank. If you'd like a vinyasa, take any version you'd like. If you'd like a rest, feel free to take child's pose. Eventually, we'll meet up in downward dog. from downward dog. Bend both knees, look toward the front of your mat, and step or hop to a forward fold. On your inhale, lift partway, and exhale, fold back down. Inhale to stand, reach your arms overhead, and exhale, hands to your heart. We're going to spend a few moments here in mountain pose, so bring your arms by your side, make sure your feet are parallel, hands facing the front. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, pressing your feet into the floor, imagining the top of your head reaching up toward the ceiling. We are going to repeat the same sequence, standard sequence we just did with a half moon added in. We're going to move a little faster this time, and we're going to switch the order in which we do each leg. So be careful that, just make sure that you are even on both sides. So if your eyes are closed, gently open them. On your next inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift part way. And exhale, step your left foot back into a lunge. Come up into crescent pose, lifting your arms overhead. Then open up to warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Side angle. And then option to head toward half moon. First, stepping your left foot in a little bit closer. Place your right hand about a foot in front of your right foot. And then slowly straighten your right leg to lift your left foot. Trying to keep your hips open to the left. Left hand reaching straight up toward the ceiling. And then slowly drop back to warrior two. Once you land, take an inhale in warrior two. And then exhale, hands to the floor outside your right foot, and step back to a plank. I'm going to give you an option for a more challenging vinyasa this time. So if you'd like to try that, lower halfway down into chaturanga. Then lift up into your upward dog. And then instead of lifting straight back to downward dog, head back to chaturanga. And then push up to a plank. And then lift your hips up and back to downward dog. We'll take a few more breaths here, so feel free to stay in your down dog. Maybe you want a quick child's pose, or you want another vinyasa. Doing whatever your body wants to do. And then let's meet in downward dog for the other side. When you're ready, lift your left leg up behind you. And then bring it forward in between your hands. And lift up to crescent pose. Open up to warrior two. Reverse your warrior. And side angle. and head toward half moon, stepping your right foot in, placing your left hand in front of you on the floor, and then lift your right leg. Try and keep your right toes pointed to the right. Slowly head to Warrior Two. Take an inhale in Warrior Two, and then exhale your hands to the floor. Step your front foot back, and take Vinyasa to Downward Dog. We're going to take one more Vinyasa, but we're going to reverse your Vinyasa. So starting from Downward Dog, head toward Up Dog. So slowly shifting your weight forward, maybe rounding your spine here. At some point, either roll over your toes or flip your feet one at a time, and then carefully let your hips drop toward, but not to the floor. Opening your heart. Gaze might be forward or slightly up. And then from your upward dog, you're going to come to chaturanga. And then push up to plank. And find downward dog. Let's all find child pose next. Taking a few moments to rest there. Maybe bring your palms together and then bend your elbows, hands toward the back of your head. Place your hands back on the floor and walk your hands in toward you, coming to seated. Let's come to a squat. So tuck your toes under and then shift back till you are in some sort of squat position. Feel free to adjust till you get comfortable here. And then maybe give your fingers a little bit of break, or you can have your hands at your heart. My wrists are feeling the chaturangas, so I'm going to bring my wrists together and make some little circles in both directions. And then bring your hands to your hearts, and we'll slowly come up to standing, pressing down into your feet to lift your body up. Okay. Come to somewhere near the middle of your mat. We're going to do a balance pose here, bouncing on one leg, option to balance on your hands if you want. So bring your hands back to your heart, slight bend into both knees. We're coming into a figure 4 pose here. So let's bounce on the right leg first. Lift the left and place your left ankle over your right knee, flexing your left foot, and then lowering down as much as you want, sort of like chair pose. You're welcome to stay here working on the balance on your foot. You can also make this more of a stretch by reaching your hands down toward the floor. Maybe at that point straightening your right leg, whatever feels best for you. And if your hands comfortably reach the floor, you can try coming into an arm balance from here. You'll need to place both hands on the floor about shoulder distance apart. And then you want to really flex your left foot, hooking your foot around your right arm. So your shin is pressed against both your upper arms. And if you feel stable here, you can try shifting your weight forward into your hands. Maybe you lift your right foot up behind you. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Not feeling great for me today. My shin always feels super bony in this arm balance, but maybe it feels better for you. If you're in the arm balance, carefully place your right foot back on the floor and lift your hands off the ground, bringing your hands back to your heart, and then slowly straighten your right leg, coming up to standing, left leg on the ground, and shake things out. Then let's go for the other side. As you're ready, hands to your heart, bend both knees, and this time cross your right leg over your left, flexing your right foot, sitting down as deep as you want. Remember, you can always stay here if you want to work on leg balance. Or reach your hands toward the floor. Maybe straighten your left leg if you want to work more on a stretch in your hips. And then option for the arm balance. If you can get your palms to the ground, maybe this side feels different from the other, so just take it carefully. Flexing your right foot, curling your toes around your left leg. Both shins into your arms, and then maybe shift your weight forward and lift your left foot off the floor. If you're in the arm balance, lower your left foot down. Slowly begin to lift your hands off the floor, hands to your heart. Left leg bent. And then come all the way up to standing, both feet on the ground, and shake things out. Okay. Bring feet about hips distance apart. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. And exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Breathe here in your forward fold. Any version that feels comfortable for you. And then begin to bend your knees. Come down to another squat, adjusting your feet as necessary to get comfortable. And in your squat, bring your left hand to the ground, straight out to the left, and then reach your right arm out to the right, up toward the ceiling. And switch sides, right hand on the floor to the right, left arm reaches up toward the ceiling. And bring both hands out in front of you. Reach your hands toward the front of your mat. If you can bring them to the floor. If you need some help with slowly lowering your seat down to the floor. And we're going to lower all the way down onto our backs, rounding your spine, lowering one vertebrae at a time. Eventually, head and shoulders relax down. Bring your knees into your chest, gently rock side to side. Give your back a little massage here. And then bring your feet back to the floor for a couple short bridges. Feet hips distance apart, arms alongside you. We're going to come up into just 3 bridges, moving with the breath. So on your next inhale, lift your hips up into a bridge, and then exhale, lower them back down. 2 more times on your own, trying to keep your knees hips distance apart as you lift and lower. After your 3rd bridge, open your arms out into a T and take a couple windshield wipers, moving your knees side to side, twisting side to side. And then next time your knees are toward the right, rest your legs there. Maybe walk your legs closer to your right arm, or experimenting with straightening one or both legs. And turn your gaze toward the left. Untwist, gaze toward the ceiling, walk your feet in, center, and when you're ready, bring your knees over to the left. Adjust them as necessary, maybe same thing you did on the other side or something slightly different, and then turn your gaze toward the right. Untwist, gaze the ceiling, feet on the floor, lift and set your hips and your shoulders, straighten out your spine. And then bring your knees in towards your chest, curl your knees in, lift your head and shoulders off the floor, bringing your head toward your knees. And then lower your head and shoulders down, stretch your feet up toward the ceiling, hands up toward the ceiling, wiggle your fingers and toes, roll your ankles and wrists. Whatever movements feel good. And then find happy baby, flexing your feet, grabbing a hold of your feet or your ankles, bending your knees, holding your legs toward the floor on either side of you, and be gently rocking side to side. From here, setting up for whatever version of Shavasana you'd like to take, whether that's laying on your mat or laying on your bed. I hope you enjoyed yoga today and have a great rest of your day.